Baby, I'm amazed at the way you love me all the time. Once more, we play our dangerous game. A saber tooth, very shiny. This came loose. That is like something I would see at a modern art gallery. Seems like there's always a shark here. These guys got done earlier. That is, of course, Whale Boy, Einstein Boy. The last of the organizer trays are about done. It's just taking forever to get that thing. This guy just keeps having problems, and I've done like all the things, and it's not the filament, so we are just gonna go nuclear. We're gonna replace the hot end completely. Did a bit of a challenging thing with this new printer, having it do a D20, because that's kind of like the hardest thing these printers actually do. I gotta say, I am giving it flowers. It really is doing a good job. I mean, honestly, these struts might actually be a good idea and not just a gimmick. This is a Brontosaurus head. You can't really tell at this point. Another pipe can. And we are remaking the skull. Hopefully this will only take a couple more days or something. Triceratops is looking a lot more like a Triceratops. That'll probably get done today. Hopefully we can get it painted. And this guy got done earlier. Another one of the trays. We're getting a pretty good bite on it. I've been really pleased with the amount of progress with the filament wall. We've already got a bunch of stuff to take to clients because I did it last night. I love it when I'm able to kind of get that done beforehand. The coffee hasn't quite kicked in yet. So we're gonna do that now. With a fully functional car. I'm not even sure I can get all this in the car. I think I can. I just got a really random message on Etsy. Almost at the beginning of this business, I bought this bag. And the reason is this is actually a laptop bag, but now I use it as a workout bag. And they messaged me, the makers of this bag, which are in Germany, Bremerhaven, Germany, messaged me wanting to see pictures of it because they're wanting to see how their bags kind of hold up over time. And so I immediately messaged them back as a good Etsy user should. And they asked if they could use the pictures because they probably like nobody responds. I think he sold 50 of these bags over the past 5-6 years, he said, or something. And I said, you can, as long as you mention my company name. And I think he's gonna do it. I mean, it's not gonna be like huge advertising opportunity, but that's how you gotta think as an entrepreneur. If you're good at something, never do it for free. Oh yeah, I also wanted to mention why I bought this. This isn't just a normal laptop bag. This was made out of Cold War era army surplus materials. Like, if I remember right, this is Belgian. It's like Belgian waxed canvas. Even the buckles and stuff are from like, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe they're from like uniforms or different military equipment and stuff like that. It's called peace4you bags, and it's interesting because it's taking something that comes from like the darkest era, arguably the darkest era of human history in some ways, and then makes something kind of artistic and beautiful out of it. I just loved the idea, and I kind of wanted a laptop bag at the time, so I went for it. Also, I bought it because this was early on in the business, and for the first time ever, basically, my bank account hit 5 figures. So I wanted to do a tiny little celebration of that. To go from being homeless to having that much in the bank in like 4 years felt like a really big, it was either 3 or 4 years, just felt like a really big achievement, and I just wanted to commemorate it with something that I would keep forever. Let's get this bread. Also, my rule of never going anywhere that I can't walk back to the shop from when the filament is running is really underscored by the fact that I just replaced this serpentine belt. I mean, I could have driven back without it, and I did drive back without it. but it's still like stuff can happen, remember. I don't know why I feel like giving them a free ad like this, but if you do want like an over-the-shoulder laptop bag or something for your iPad, they have luggage, they have like everything you could think of, and it's all handmade. Peace4you bags is really good. Like, I've been using the crap out of that thing, and it's a little scuffed up here and there, but basically it's totally fine. I think ultimately the reason I bought that one is because like there are a lot of laptop bags that look cool but are probably made badly. There's a lot of bags that are sort of made well, but they're kind of boring. Peace4you bags, like, I loved that it was made out of Army, like Cold War Army surplus stuff. And it was really cool looking, and it was just like the combination of all the things. So totally free ad for them, I guess, but yeah. Also, just wanted to say, despite the fact that apparently now I am fighting a sneeze, I just wanted to say that I am thankful for you guys. Nothing in particular prompted that. Maybe this is an insane idea, but there should be something like the filibuster, I guess specifically in the Senate, but maybe this could apply to other things. There should be something like the filibuster, except it's two people and they have to debate. And whoever like sits down or stops speaking or something loses. As in, like, there is a law that's gonna pass. Maybe it'll be only for specific situations, and like whoever keeps talking the longest wins. I don't really have a problem with the filibuster per se. I've seen Mr. Smith Goes to Washington like everybody else, but there's no competitive aspect to it. Like, I don't know how it would work. Maybe it would have to be like somebody hasn't responded within 5 minutes or something. If you go 5 minutes without responding and the other person's not talking, that's probably what it would be. It would be like nobody's said anything and the last person spoke, so they're not under scrutiny. If somebody says something to you and you don't respond within 5 minutes, you lose and the other person gets their way. It's like a rap battle almost, except it's with laws. We're gonna settle things the way we settled them on the streets. Back in high school, probably would have been 2002, 2003, something like that. A classmate of mine, probably in history class, suggested that our elections should just be, you know, we put the two candidates in a boxing ring and just have them slug it out. And like every year that goes by, that idea gets less stupid. I guess the only fly in that ointment is Mike Tyson would definitely end up being president. I was thinking about the phrase coming out of the woodwork. Like, it's talking ostensibly, it's talking about bugs, right? Like bugs coming out of your woodwork. What era of US history was this a phrase that was popularized? Must have been like when everybody was really poor and there were just bugs everywhere. Really bothers me to think about. Oh, I know why I thought of that. We were talking about politicians. And now, coffee time. Get the dunk out of my face. Get the dunk out of my face. I'm gonna be honest, I really wanted the fancy coffee again, but I didn't get it. Don't you know that you are a coffee star? The verse nobody knows because it's not in the movie. Don't you forget the coffee. Man, the wait was 3 songs in the drive-thru. Somebody must have got like the ultimate coffee. That synth. See, the Madonna haters are a lot like the U2 haters in that they're both definitely right. Like, U2 thinks they're way cooler than they are, and maybe Madonna doesn't think she's cooler than she is, but there's a real lively debate, let's say, about when Madonna stopped being good. Personally, I think I draw the line at like early 90s, before she had that really absurdly smutty album. The one that like was on all the news, and like we don't talk about that. To me, like almost everything before that was at least kind of good. But where I disagree with the haters on both U2 and Madonna is like there was definitely a point at which they were solidly good. Like, it's just, there's some kind of agenda being expressed here, or it's like they're trying to get hot takes and get clicks and likes and upvotes and stuff. Like, U2 was good, okay? U2 was very good. The Unforgettable Fire, the Joshua Tree, like, I don't know how almost any human being can listen to that and not at least say, yes, this sounds good. And like, it's more subjective with Madonna, and she's not to the level of like Joshua Tree or Unforgettable Fire for me at all. But like, she was definitely good at a certain point, in an almost pseudo and objective way. And I just don't understand how, like, it's just a stupid hot take to act like that was never true. So I just got a burrito from that place I got one from last time, and the owner was there, and he's like, he has one of my saber-toothed skulls, and he's like, man, I hung that thing in my kid's room, and he loves it. It's like, you doing good? You gonna have a big Christmas sales? It's like, man, I'm like a tiny bit famous here. It's very weird. It's weird when random people recognize me, like when I was in Henderson, Texas. I don't know if you ever got this impression, but I am not the kind of guy that people tend to pay attention to at all. It's just so tough not to eat these burritos all the time because they're $8. Because it's like, the reason you don't eat out is because it costs more money, right? But I could not make a burrito this large for $8. They can only do it because they buy this stuff in bulk or something. And if I made a burrito like this, maybe I could get it down to like $7.50, something like that. $8, and it's like a block away from here. The only reason I don't just eat these all the time is it probably is a little unhealthy. Although compared to a lot of things you could eat, just a nice homemade burrito with natural ingredients and stuff is actually not that bad. Plus, this guy makes his own salsa. Like any decent taco burrito shop around here makes their own salsa, their own family recipe probably. And he's just such a cool guy. It's like, I probably should just let myself get a burrito from there once a week, because it's not that unreasonable. I have a whole new revenue stream too, so it's not even that big a deal. Just got a thing from Google AdSense. I really have no idea what this is. It's probably just like, hey, you have a Google AdSense account now. Thanks. I mean, look at this thing. That is huge. Okay, so I got a box, and I order a lot of things, so I figured it was probably just something I ordered. But one of you sent me a little something. I'm gonna have to look through my messages. I think I know who this is. But somebody 3D printed me a little gift, and it says, I won't read the whole thing, but it says, in appreciation for my vlogs, and to celebrate the 100th episode, which is coming up. Remember to ask your questions on episode 99. Holy crap. Whoa. And it says, the Gratitude Gang. I'm gonna have to actually look up, I'll put in the description. Actually, I don't know if they want me to say it publicly. Somebody named Scott made me a Chihuahua. Big shout out. I'll probably put this in the thumbnail. Guys, what this means is we are officially the Gratitude Gang. I've been calling you the Gratitude Gang. We have a mascot now. This is really kind of awesome. I'm probably gonna put this right next to the monitor, or maybe I'll put it by the trading setup or something. I don't know. Very cool. Whoever this was, if you want, I will give you a shout out to your store. You probably sell stuff. Maybe you're a hobbyist. I should probably know who this is, but thanks guys. This is probably a good place for him. He'll listen to music too. Sweet. Just replaced this bearing. Remember those smaller bearings I was using and how I was talking about we need to get an actual larger one? I did. This is the size bearing that came with the machine, so I'm pretty sure this will be perfect. Anyone that wants to see how you work on these things, I made a whole dedicated video. You can find it, it's like a couple months ago. I don't have that many videos. You could definitely find it if you just scroll down. Seems to be working good. All right, getting into a few things. This is an Einstein. Just got a couple of little things to touch up here. Octo and tentacles. Gonna package some stuff. This is just a classic silver fade Tupac. Silver fade because you can see it's darker underneath and less dark up top. Random thought, but there's an old saying, it's actually called Hanlon's razor, which is don't attribute to malice which can be explained by incompetence. But then there's kind of a newer idea. It's like also don't attribute to incompetence that which is better explained by malice. And the thing that just occurred to me is, to some degree over the long run, these are the same thing. Like, I don't know if I would say people have a duty to become competent, but generally if you're going to exist in the world, you need to be competent at something at least. And I'm not saying that's easy. It's not like you can just snap your fingers. But the point is, over time, you can become more competent at something. Preferably something that the world could use, you know, it's always nice. So it's like, man, if you choose not to do that, if you choose to just stay incompetent, it's kind of malicious when you think about it. You're deciding to be somebody who doesn't contribute to society. And I mean, we'll give all the normal caveats. Obviously, there are conditions a person can have where it's difficult for them, and we're not really talking about people. We're talking about just normal people who could be competent at something and just generally don't do it. It's like there really isn't quite this neat delineation between malice and incompetence when you think about it, especially over the long run. It goes back to that idea that I said a few episodes ago, where a feature of morality often is taking a long-term view instead of a short-term view. You know, over the long term, malice and incompetence start looking pretty similar. Oh yeah, Tupac. Tupac gets a cupcake. Ugh. So this is probably the best cassette album that I have. Songs from the Wood. Generally speaking, Jethro Tull fans will tell you this is their favorite album. It's a bit of a generalization, but that's a very common response anyway. But this is probably number 2 on this rack anyway. This is Shepherd Moons by Enya. I have 3 Enya albums. You know what? I forgot I have this. This is Paint the Sky with Stars. This is a sort of a greatest hits, but there's a couple of original tracks on here as well from like 1996. Yeah, this is a banger. Honestly, like, if you only have one Enya album, this would be the one. Now you gotta remember, like, most of the bands I played in were like metal bands and stuff. I like a lot of prog and things like that. I like a lot of things. But man, when I started listening to Enya, I couldn't believe how good it was. People don't understand how good of a musician she is. Like, you wouldn't think that, because that's not what people say. But she layers those vocals like 20, 30 tracks deep. And like, when you do that, you have to sing it the same way exactly each time. And if you haven't recorded a bunch of vocals or something, that doesn't sound that hard. But it is. There's so many little nuances in the voice. And to do entire like vocal tracks and do 30 of them and do every little nuance, every syllable the same way each time, and then harmonize perfectly with yourself, it's actually a superhuman task. Plus, I like the songs themselves. This is just such a good, chill album. I used to go shooting every weekend when I lived in the Carolinas. I went to this range that's out in the woods somewhere. It was legal, don't worry. But I used to listen to Enya on the way there just to relax, and the whole thing was very serene and a very fun time. Here's something you don't get with streaming. Flipping open the case. Trying to fit the thing in. Closing the thing. Best one. This is kind of random, but I just sold a George Orwell headphone stand. I listed that thing for sale probably 3 years ago. I haven't sold a single one. In fact, I think it may have never even been favorited on Etsy, like ever, maybe. It was so cool, I just thought I was gonna sell 1 million of them. We're getting close to done today, but we've got a Bob Marley. And yes, in case you guys haven't seen it, the Bob Marley is the 3 Jamaican colors with the yellow faded down like that. Buffalo Soldier. Remember all those spools we made? We really do not have a lot left. That's how fast we're making filament, baby. Probably gonna set a couple printers to be making some. Although there's a bunch of spools that are gonna be running out, but still, we are making so much filament. Kind of a random thought, but if I was Somali, I think I'd want to become a sommelier. One of those wine tasting people. Think about how funny it would be to like be Somali and like have the bottle of wine, be like, I'm gonna be your Somali sommelier. Take a look at where we're at on this. Getting really full. We've literally got like, these are maybe old spools that we need to use up or something. They might be fine, but I'm probably gonna use them just to make sure. So we've got 4 pegs left over here. I mean, literally those might be full in a couple of days. I've been filling up about a peg a day, maybe slightly more than that. Then we've got whatever's over here. Most of this stuff is trash filament. It's kind of gotten stuck here because I can't use it for one reason or another. But yeah, we got to fill up these pegs. Just those would be enough, but we've also got some up here, and I've got a few of these things. Then theoretically, we could maybe have some over there. There's actually a couple of other pegs here. Obviously, this is being used for something else right now. But yeah, even with all that stuff, I think we can fill it up by Christmas season, basically Thanksgiving. So we're doing real good. We are on track. This is the biggest part of it, really. Once this wall is full, I've gone into Christmas before with just this wall of filament and it was fine. Ooh, that was a solid day. Plus, on top of that, still got 2 rolls being made, which are gonna be done pretty soon. Oh, it really is a psychosomatic thing. Well, instead of an abstract idea that I'm thankful for today, I have a very tangible object. I guess what this means is the Gratitude Gang has an official mascot. Read it and weep. Weep for gratitude, that is. I feel like I just won like a gratitude award. I don't really know how one would do that. But yeah, very cool. I am grateful for this. I'm grateful that we're making good progress going towards Christmas season. One way I know I'm making progress towards the Christmas thing is how afraid I feel when I start thinking about it, like what it's actually like. And I'm like feeling a little apprehensive, but it's like, man, we're probably gonna be all right. There was a Christmas where, like, I want to say 5 or 6 of my printers just stopped working in a way that wasn't easy to fix. It was all different things, of course, but like, man, it was a nightmare. I want to say that was like 3 or 4 years ago. You learn so much doing Christmas stuff. It's like Frodo holding the ring, knowing eventually we have to go to Mordor. I think it's gonna be good. We're making extra sharks, like I think I implied today, or maybe this was... See, I can't even remember whether I said something today or yesterday. That's what it's like when you like do so many things in a day. Anyway, I think I've got all the current orders either made, shipped, or being made on these printers. So we're gonna really be, and this is the first, I could have eaten out today. Remember the eating out 1st and 15th thing? Anyway, we're going to be making tons of sharks from now on because all the orders that are on the board are basically made or are about to be made. So that means I just have to make whatever's coming in, and everything else is gonna be sharks. I mean, we might be making like 5 or 6 sharks at a time sometimes, at least 3 or 4. Yeah, I think we're gonna be all right. Now, one thing I'm kind of debating is whether to try and paint the sharks first. I probably should try to, but I sell gray and blue sharks. The blue sells more, but I do sell both of them. Technically, I could just repaint any ones if I start getting to the end of them. I should probably paint at least half of them blue. I'm sure at least half will be blue, so that will save time. This is the stuff you think about when you think about going into Christmas season. Just things that can save you even a tiny little bit of time. But anyway, I'm grateful for being prepared. I'm grateful for you guys, and I'm grateful that Chihuahuas exist so I can watch them on Instagram. Tell me what you, the Gratitude Gang, tell me what you are grateful for today in the comments. Write out your comments. Tell me what you're working on. Tell me what little things you're enjoying in your life. Bring in a little cultivation to the gratitude space. And I will heart react, probably. I will probably upvote. Other people might upvote. Hey, here's an idea. Upvote other people's comments. Let them know that they've been heard. It's a great thing to do. If you want something, give it to other people. And then a lot of times people will give it to you. So with that being said, have a nice night, day, evening. In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace out.